Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Your Vibes Podcast. Everybody's got a vibe and a story to tell. Here's this one. I hope you enjoy. This episode is sponsored by Tia Armstrong with Property Place Solutions brokered by eXp. Tia is a local real estate agent who prides herself in being a value add in all her clients' real estate transactions. Whether it's an investment property or your next home, you can rely on Tia to help you with whatever you need. Check her out on her socials at Tia Armstrong or give her a call at 615-497-5336. What's up, everybody? Here we are with a special episode here. Got Miss Stacey Levine in house. How are you?
I'm good, Michael. And it's going to be a special episode because it's going to be shorter than the rest of them.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, we'll hammer out the high points and get it on audio and recorded real quick, and then have it out. So this is so Stacey is running for city council in the 3rd ward. And I think she's going to do a fantastic job. I know she's been working her butt off. I know that she's been door knocking, has got signs, and she's been busy today, so I've heard. So, as you all may know, that the Shepherd family, I don't know if anybody's listened to the Elizabeth's podcast, but she was pretty, the one we did before this, she was touting on the family pretty heavily, but we seem to just involve ourselves, whether it needs to be involved with or not.
Whether you
like it or not.
Here
we come. That's exactly right. All well-meaning, though. All well-meaning. Right. We're not in this with malintent or anything like that at all, or to try to take over the world. We just we have it in our heart that this county is a special place, and it needs to stay that way even through these growth changes and population increases and developments and different needs as the society grows and different people come here. So we feel that we could provide some good input and some good boots on the ground type work as well, and support for the local community. So here we are, and of course, David was extremely involved in politics for the majority of his life too, so it kind of runs in your blood, and our granddad was as well too, and was very involved in the community. So I guess we'll just kind of start out with what was it? Did you just wake up one morning and you're like, hey, wake up, Ethan, and push the kids off the bed and hey, I think I want to do this, or what did that look like?
Why am I running for city council? Okay. Well, as you kind of alluded, we were all products of the environment and the morals in which we're raised, and we whether intentionally or not, we see the people raising us and what they're doing, and we in our young minds, we're formed opinions and thoughts and ways to be. So I grew up, watching both of my parents being very involved in the community. And this is everything, Michael, from PTO. I mean, I remember knocking on doors with my mom as a little girl. I don't even know what petition she was having everyone in the neighborhood sign, but, just seeing that kind of level of involvement and, like you said, boots on the ground and just throwing yourself into issues and being passionate about them. From watching my parents be Little League coaches or Sunday school teachers, or when I was in elementary school, my dad was on city council, and I remember him going to meetings and being involved in that way. So I just saw that, from a young age, and always knew that I wanted to also give back and be involved. And I was as a kid too. I did the student council and on all the different clubs in high school and also in college. But kind of fast forward to when we moved to our current house in downtown Dickson, I had a traffic safety issue that I was worried about on my street. I have 3 young children, and I had a concern about traffic. And so I reached out to my city councilman, Perkins, and told him about my issue and didn't know it, but he took it to the council literally the next week. And then they approved a stop sign, and literally within a week there was a stop sign. I came home one day, there was a gleaming bright red stop sign there, right at my corner, and I was just blown away. I've never seen anything move that fast. Especially in government.
Yeah, exactly.
But it just kind of, reiterated to me how important it is to know your elected representatives and to know your council people and your commissioners and the people that represent you, and also to reach out to them when you have an issue. But it also really kind of illustrated how, in my belief, local politics impacts our day-to-day life much more than the state politics or the national politics, which we all hear about and debate about, and have such strong opinions about. And we always show up, well, not always, but most people show up to vote in those elections. But it's really these local municipal seats that really, have the ability to affect your day-to-day life. And so I thought that was really cool. I thought, oh my goodness, this is a way that you can immediately make an impact in your community. And so that really, I would say that that kind of interaction not planted the seed, because the seed was already planted. Probably it broke open the little seedling that had probably been already planted from earlier in my life. But it gave me the idea that, maybe I should look into running for city council. That would be a great place to give back to my community. And I feel like I have some skills that would really benefit the council and hopefully benefit the city. So I put that in the back of my mind. As a mother, I think if there are other mothers listening, you might agree with me. I feel we tend to put our families and our children ahead of our own priorities at times, which, as all parents do that. But so I had told myself I would run for city council when my youngest started school. And at the time, when I first started thinking about this, he was 1. So I knew I had a little ways off, but, that was doable. But then, to be honest, and he's only 3 now, so that would still be 2 more years if I were going by the arbitrary date that I had set for myself. With my dad's getting cancer last year and then pretty suddenly passing 6 months ago, that just reminded me, that life is short, and why wait on the things that you want to do right now? We don't know what the future holds. I'm ready now. I have energy now. I feel that I have skills that relate and would be beneficial now. I was trained as an architect. I worked as an architect for 15 years. With skills related to architecture, city planning, development, project management. These are all things that I think would be beneficial for a council member to have, especially as we're going through our season of growth. With so many new people moving into the community and wanting to live in the downtown Dickson area. So I know that strong communities are those that bring business and government and nonprofit together to solve problems. And this is training that I went through in my master's program, which was civic leadership. And I learned how to kind of be in that space and to bring those people to the table to create positive change in communities. And so I feel that would make me an informed council person.
Yeah, and not only just informed, like mentally and educationally, like you've pretty much bred into, to doing the footwork right off the bat as a small girl, and then, running for an elected position in high school. So you've kind of been through the ringer at that point, and then doing it again in college, and then, then educating yourself, via the classroom session in that whole environment as well too. So you're pretty much hitting it from all sides right now.
Yeah, and also just the fact that I grew up in Dickson. I moved away for a bit. I've experienced other places, other cities, some that worked, some that didn't. But I'm back in Dickson and raising my family here, and so thrilled to be here. And we all know what a special place Dickson. If you live in Dickson, it's special. And I am just passionate about keeping keeping it that way. I want it to continue to be this super special place that didn't grow too big for its britches or didn't grow too fast too soon without the proper oversight. And so that's really what I want to give back, is just my love for Dickson, and the fact that I want it to be this same special place for my kids. I think that our children deserve a city council that's invested in the long-term livability and viability of the city. And that's me throwing out an architecture word. So livability. So when you talk about the livability of a city, there are 5 factors that make up the livability of a city. And it's a big job, but I believe it is the council's job to make sure all of those factors are addressed and working together. And so those are stability. So this is, financial stability. Is this city financially stable? I believe that the current council and the mayor have done an excellent job. I know that we're, just from the reports, we're in a great place, stability wise, as far as our financial holdings. The second piece of that is healthcare. We have strong healthcare in the community, but how is that going to work as we grow? Making sure that we have enough resources for everyone, access to healthcare as well. The third is our culture and environment. This is somewhere where I think that Dickson really shines. It's one of the things that, the stability and the healthcare and the infrastructure bring people to Dickson, the jobs, but it's the culture and environment that make it a place that they want to be and not leave on the weekends. And so, I think we do such a good job of we have a museum, we have amazing parks. Our parks department has put together, a long-term plan to make sure all these different needs are addressed so that everyone has something to do for their physical and mental health. And these are the things that make life enjoyable. The fourth piece of livability is education. And the fifth piece is our infrastructure, our roads, our development. We have so much going on right now, and that so much development going on that our roads could quickly become, we all joke about, there's now traffic jams in Dickson. This didn't used to happen. Well, this could get worse if we don't keep an eye on it and just make sure that, everything's being looked at kind of from a bird's eye view.
It's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have, but I'm up for the challenge. And I think that right now Dickson has been doing an awesome job of keeping all 5 of these livability factors in check. But, going forward, I think it's just something we need to continue to make sure we're paying attention to.
Sure. And I think the one message that you keep reiterating too is giving back, which is, the duty of a social servant for the most part is, is not, you've got your personal vested reasons obviously as well, but you're very in tune with the community, very involved with the community, and people feel comfortable coming to you to talk about situations or issues or things that may need to shift a little bit or go a little faster, a little slower, or whatever it may be. Is you're a very approachable person, which makes it which makes things just a whole lot easier. But I think that this whole idea of giving back, especially after your stop sign thing, how that kind of sparked an interest in your mind, like, oh, well, this actually works. I'm not just throwing ideas into a black hole. We interrupt this episode with a message from our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Tia Armstrong with Property Place Solutions, brokered by EXP. Tia is a local real estate agent who prides herself in being a value add in all her clients' real estate transactions. Whether it's an investment property or your next home, you can rely on Tia to help you with whatever you need. Check her out on her socials at Tia Armstrong or give her a call at 615-497-5336. Now let's get back to it and enjoy the rest of this episode. There's support there, there's community there, and there are representatives there that do care about their constituents and want to see the community grow as well too. So I guess kind of we were chatting a little bit before, and you had made the point that yes, you are running in the 3rd ward, which is how they've kind of got everything separated out, but you're doing this for more than just that ward.
Right.
Obviously, as kind of the council as a whole goes, that you have to kind of have things divided to conquer almost. And so what, I guess maybe just we can kind of start in your ward, maybe if there's maybe like an issue or two that you're seeing, and then maybe a couple issues throughout the city that you're seeing as well. What are a couple things that are kind of right there at the top of the totem pole, like right off the gate, should the election go your way, where is Stacey going to kind of start there?
Well, some of my top priorities are broadband internet, continuing to support that moving forward and helping it move forward as fast as it can. I know we have several neighborhoods in my ward specifically, but across the city as well, that really need some infrastructure, electrical attention. These are communities that, are in the city and they pay taxes and feel that they aren't getting the attention they need regarding their utilities. And so just making sure that everybody feels like they're being listened to and that their issues are being addressed. I'm very concerned about traffic issues. Again, going back to what first sparked my interest in this position. We have so many neighborhoods where the residents tell me that there's a blind curve, or there's people can't see when you're pulling out of a road, and there's children playing, and just making sure that we're addressing all of that, because that's a preventative
Absolutely.
measure that we would hate to have an issue that could have been prevented. That's tragic. I'm also, interested in finding some sustainable housing solutions for new residents. We have lots of new residents moving in. I've been knocking on doors, and it has been really surprising how many new people I've met. And they're like, "Oh, I'm not registered to vote. I just moved here," and so I happily give them a voter's registration form.
So you just carry that in tow
I
with
do.
you? Okay.
I carry those around. But it just, it just shows me we have so many new people, and we have so many people also wanting to live in the city limits. How do we grow? And when I say sustainable housing, I mean maintainable. How do we grow in a way that's maintainable, and we don't kind of overpopulate our city, but also allow everyone to live where they feel comfortable and where they feel led to live. And just let's see what else. Our Parks and Rec department, I'm a huge supporter. I'm on the Parks and Rec board, disclaimer. But I applaud our mayor and our city council for having the foresight to put so much thought and emphasis in our Parks and Rec department. I know that there are people who think we've put too much, are looking at it a little bit too closely and overlooking some other infrastructure issues. But I think going back to the livability issue, it's just one piece of the pie that we all need ways to recreate safely, and ways to get outdoors and have safe places for our children and our families to be. So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. Cool. The top of the line.
Well, yeah, and I think green space is key, especially in a growing community, because it can be easy to kind of overlook having that green space and recreational areas as well too, in these stages of massive growth and development. You can kind of take for granted, what space you do have. But I would like to maybe ask just real quick. So we all know about, a lot of people moving from out of town and coming into Dickson. So I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, but I would love to kind of get the dichotomy of, I guess, new residents' initial reaction to kind of, you don't know what you don't know kind of thing. And new people, not when they come to the county, it's not necessarily the outside looking in, but, they may see some issues or some things that a longtime resident may have just grown used to, or maybe has never noticed, and it's kind of become background noise. So maybe some of the issues that some of these new residents are seeing versus your old timers, the people that have been here for a while. Is there a difference in that you've noticed at all?
I haven't had a lot of time to kind of get into that conversation with the newcomers that I've met. But I will say that people seem to have either picked Dickson for a certain reason, such as a job, or found themselves here because it's, one lady chose Dickson because it was halfway between, Memphis and Franklin, where her 2 children lived, or whatever reason they found themselves here. Everybody that I've spoken to, just on a surface level, has been very happy to be here and seem to feel like they've found the Holy Grail. But you bring up a good point. I should go back and dive deeper and see what it is exactly, because I know what I think I love about Dickson, and in a way I feel like, because I went away for college and then Ethan and I lived out of state for a while. I mean, in a way I feel like I did come back to a new Dickson that was very different from how I grew up. In the ways that are important, it's still the same, but as far as growth and new opportunities, it's very different, and I've been pleasantly surprised. And that's one of the reasons we're here is because we absolutely love it as a place to raise our children, as a place to grow our careers, as a place to kind of settle down our roots. I look forward to my children knowing Dickson as their home, which is what I knew it as.
And it's a good place to call home.
It is.
It really is a good place to call home. So I guess we can kind of round it out, and just a couple things. I'm not going to get into the questions just yet. We'll get into those in a second. But I would love to just maybe real quick know kind of, I'm always interested in kind of campaign strategies. So how are you kind of going about this? I know you've been busy today. I guess you were on WDKN.
Well,
right?
I was recording my radio spot,
yes.
So I don't know if they're going to come out starting today, but if you're a WDKN listener, which you should be, I did record some little 30-second kind of commercials. But yeah, I was on the Women's Exchange with Elizabeth Coons last week. But really my strategy, Michael, is door knocking and meeting people and going door to door. I am literally trying to hit every door in my ward. I'm not even following. Do you know? It's over. Well, there are 1,300 registered voters, but as far as doors, I don't know. Okay. But I'm not even following, any sort of walking list. I'm just going neighborhood to neighborhood and door knocking, and it is so much fun. Oh my gosh. This is not something I anticipated being super fun, but I love it. Cool. And it's just heartwarming to talk to people and to hear what their issues are in their neighborhood, and to talk to them about the things that they also love about Dickson, and to know that, if I'm given the opportunity as a city council person, that I can maybe help them with their issues. But so I've been door knocking. I'm on social media. I've put out letters to all 1,300 registered voters in my ward, just introducing myself. Sure. And let's see.
You sponsored trivia.
I've sponsored trivia last week.
Sponsor bingo.
I'm going to sponsor bingo soon. And I will be on the Power Lunch on September 8th as well. So that'll be really fun. I love talking to Kenneth. Yeah.
And you were on Jeff Eby's podcast.
That's true. I was on Jeff Eby's podcast.
All over the place.
I was the first female on his podcast.
How about that? Wow. That's a monumental moment there.
Right. Oh, and we'll be walking in the Old Timers Day Parade.
Oh,
so
cool.
Be on the lookout. I'm hoping to get my brother Ben to drive my dad's truck, which will just mean a lot to me. To kind of have his truck and then a walking group, and we'll just be waving and shaking hands and kissing babies. But that's the 25th is Old Timers Day, September 25th. It's also the last day of early voting. So early voting starts September 10th and goes through the 25th, and then election day is September 30th. Okay. And everyone in the city limits can vote. If you're a registered voter in the city of Dickson, you can vote. Early voting is always at the Dickson County Public Library, and then election day is at your precinct, which for Ward 3, that is at the Dickson Senior Center.
Downtown.
Yes.
Next to the yoga place, right?
Yes. Behind the police department.
Okay. Behind the police department. They haven't moved that. Is that still going to move?
No. Okay. Yeah, it's going to move. Yeah.
Okay. Into the old athletic, I always call it House of Fitness, but for whatever.
Did you ever go there when the bar was in that building?
One time. Yeah. O'Rourke's, I think is what it was. Right. Yes, that was right when me and Anna Claire first started dating. That was kind of, it was either that or I don't even know if House of Brews, I guess, wasn't around.
It wasn't, Yeah,
if you wanted to go someplace and not get mugged in the parking lot somewhere, it seemed like you just went over there. That was some interesting times over there too. But yeah, that Well, good. And I guess, do you have I know we've kind of talked about the issues and why you're doing it. So, if you kind of want to finish off with, what Stacey coming out of the gate, why vote Stacey Levine and, into city council?
I would be honored to be your city councilwoman. I promise to work hard, to listen to you, and to never take a back seat or be complacent or take the position for granted. I will bring fresh ideas and fresh perspective to the council, and I just have a love for Dickson, and I want to see it thrive, and I would be honored to have your vote.
That's awesome. She's a hardworking gal, comes from a great family, and cares a lot, and has involvement in all different aspects of the community. I mean, her husband Ethan is extremely involved in a lot of projects around town. Her kids go to school here, and they've got friends of all ages. She's heavily involved in the parks department as well too. So just somebody with a big heart that cares a lot and is hardworking, is a great listener, and comes from just a top-notch family. No bias there at all whatsoever. So cool. Do you have anything else that you want to throw in there?
Just that you should get out and vote, no matter if it's this election or the next one. People have fought and died for our right to vote, and I think you should exercise it.
And what were those dates again?
September 10th through the 25th is early voting, and Election Day is September 30th.
Cool. Register to vote if you haven't.
Yes.
All it does is take a couple pieces of paper and just get it in there, get it submitted. You can do that online,
Yeah,
too,
you
right?
can do it online. And actually,
yeah.
you should do that now, because August 31st is the last day to register to vote.
Oh, boy. You got,
for this
6
election.
days on that one.
Yeah,
so
6 days.
6 days. You better get to it. Historically, voter turnout has been
very low.
Yeah, very low, like within the low hundreds almost, and I guess within the city limits, it's 15,000 people. Is that right?
Right about.
Yeah.
And this election cycle particularly has a low turnout because the city mayor isn't on the ballot this go round. So he's on the ballot in 2 years, and that's when a few more people will show up to vote. But this cycle is low voter turnout, so that's a challenge. But
yeah, I mean, these races are won and lost within tens of votes for the most part. So, national elections, as she was saying, are one thing, and decided by thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. At local elections, every vote seriously does count. I mean, I've seen it won. I guess, was it Brian Hill over in White Bluff that won by like maybe 2 votes or something like that, but there was only like 112 people that voted kind of thing. So, just get out and vote for whoever you feel is best. This is Stacey's piece, and you can find her all over the county, and has got a commercial coming out on the radio. So if people would like to get in touch with you, how can they do that? They
can find me on Facebook. I have Stacey Levine for Dickson is my campaign Facebook page. Or you can email me, staceylevine08@gmail.com. And that's Stacey with an EY, and Levine is Levine. 08@gmail.com.
Sweet. All right. Well, thanks, Stace, for coming in and taking the time. 26 minutes and 25 seconds.
Ooh, the shortest one yet.
Kept it short. That's it. That's exactly right. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for listening. Vote. It is your right. Exercise it and do it well, and encourage others to do the same. So, once again, thanks for listening, and until next time, peace.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks again to Tia Armstrong with Property Place Solutions, brokered by EXP, for sponsoring this episode. Be sure to reach out to her on her socials at Tia Armstrong, or give her a call at 615-497-5336. If you're interested in sponsoring an episode, please reach out to me directly via email at yourvibespodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, and always remember, stay vibey, my friends.